Good morning, ma'am. Today I will discuss about the topic which is the chapter 12. So, it has been the policy of the state to recognize the indispensable role of the private sector like the tourism industry and provide incentives for its needed investments. So this chapter deals with law related to promotion, monitoring and regulation of tourism investment and finance in the country. So basically, this will tackle the participation of foreign investor as well as incentives given to Filipinos in case they will invest in the tourism industry. So special law are even created to address needs of certain sector like the informal sector, Filipino balikbayan, retirees, and senior citizens. So for the learning objectives of this chapter are enumerate the procedure in setting up a tourism-oriented business. Next, I'll explain the law governing tourism investment and financing tourism-oriented projects. Then I will discuss the business models applicable to tourism project and enumerate the various taxes application to tourism-related establishment. And I will discuss the limitation of foreigners in tourism investment. So for the contents of law related to promotion, monitoring and regulation of tourism, then we will discuss also the finance in the country, as well as the participation of foreign investors and incentives given by the Filipino. So foreign investment. So if you talk about a foreign, so these people are the came from other country. So these people are live as outside the country. So Foreign Investment Act of 1991. So Philippine national, so this is refers to as citizens of the Philippines. So Philippine national refers also to the person who live in our country, which is the Philippines. So a local partnership or association owned entirely by the Filipinos or a corporation established under the Philippine law where at least 60% of the voting capital stock is owned by the Filipinos. So approximately dili ra siya dili 100% but it's 60% of voting capital stock. So additionally, it includes a foreign corporation operating in the Philippines where 100% of the voting capital stock is owned by the Filipino, or a trustee managing pension funds where at least 60% of the benefits will go to the Filipino. So na shares ang Filipino, which is the 60% share. So if a corporation and its non-Filipino shareholders own stock in a Securities and Exchange Commission registered enterprise, both corporation must at least 60% Filipino ownership. So if the Filipino na ay own a business, so kailangan na sila 60% Filipino ownership in this country as considered as Philippine nationals. So for the Republic Act of 7042 as amended by Republic Act of 8179 March 25, 1996, also known as the Foreign Investment Act of 1991, provides for the policy that foreigners can now invest all activities and enterprise in the Philippines. So there are naanay law nga mandate sa Philippine national nga ang mga foreigner people pwede na sila mo invest o business ani sa Philippines. So that is the Foreign Investment Act of 1991. So there are exception, that is those covered in the negative list are the exception. So later we will be tackle about the negative list nga dili pwede maka-invest ari sa Pilipinas ang mga foreigners. So naay mga qualifications nga gihatag ang national kung kinsa ra to ang maka-invest og mga business ari sa Philippines. So, itong mga alien or the foreigners. So, when a foreign investment in the Philippines is not covered or does not seek incentives under the Omnibus Investment Code, the foreign national or entity can ascertain the extent of allowable foreign equity and the enterprise sought to be entered into simply referring to the negative list. So naa kung ay mga foreign nga investors nga wala sila na qualified to invest in the Philippines tungod kay na ay mga problema or na ay mga documents nga wala nila na comply, so they are considered as a negative list nga mo invest og mga business ani sa Pilipinas. And filing the necessary requirements in the Security Exchange of Commerce. So, one of the requirements is to file the requirements or documents to the SEC or the Security Exchange Commission. So, failure to submit requirements to this government agency, so they are not allowed to invest in the country, which is the Philippines. So, under the Foreign Investment Act of 1991, a foreign national or equity must determine the kind of enterprise sought to be entered into, whether the enterprise is domestic market enterprise or an export enterprise. So, what do you mean by domestic market? So, domestic market is naara siya sa within the country, and the export or international enterprise, so nagikan sa laing country which is international. So for the domestic market enterprise, so shall mean an enterprise which produce goods for sale or renders service to the domestic market entirely. So naara siya within the Philippines na nagproduce og goods, which mo ang domestic enterprise. So if exporting a portion of its output continually fails to export at least 60% so thereof. So in domestic market enterprise, foreigners can invest as much as 100% equity, except in areas included in the negative list. So the foreigners will invest the 100% investment. So except ani nga nakalista sa negative list. Or in case the paid in equity capital is less than the equivalent of $200,000, such domestic market enterprise is reserved to Philippine national, provided that they involve advanced technology as determined by the Department of Science and Technology, or they employ at least 50 direct employee. Then a minimum paid in capital of $100,000 shall be allowed to non-Philippine national. So there are many qualifications nga pwede na itong matawag nga pwede na sila mo invest into sa Philippine national. So so if there are 50 employees paid in capital $100, so they are called as non-Philippine nationals. So into export enterprise, so shall mean an enterprise wherein manufacturer, processor, or service enterprise exports 60% or more of its output, or wherein a trader purchases products and domestically and exports 60% or more than such purposes or purchase. So if domestic enterprise, so mo invest sila og 100%, so the export enterprise, the foreigners will be invest into 60%. So procedure for registration, so a foreign national or entity not seeking to avail of incentive under the Omnibus Investment Code shall file an application of registration. So there will be an application for registration as follows. So first, for the corporation and the partnership, so they are encouraged to register to the Securities and Exchange Commission with the name verification slip, certified copy of board resolution authorizing the establishment of a Philippine office, designating the resident agent, and stipulation that in the absence of such agent or upon cessation of its business in the Philippines, so the check And the Security Exchange Commission shall receive summon and illegal processes. So one of the reason why it is important to register the business into the Security Exchange Commission or the investor register to the SEC is in order to the document will be legal. So to avoid illegal process, so the investor must register to the Security Exchange Commissions for the legal purposes. So next is the financial statement as certified by an independent or certified public accountant of the home country for the immediately preceding the year or time of the filing of the application. Next, the certified copies of the articles and incorporation of incorporations for the partnership with English translation. So next for the foreign company, so foreign company information sheet one is one of the also the requirements and the proof of inwards and remittances. So for the single or sole proprietorship, so single proprietorship is only one owner. So they need to register to a Bureau of Trade Regulation and Consumer Protection or BTRCP of the Department of Trade and Industry, and the requirements must be followed. So administer sanctions such as imposition of fines and forfeiture of benefits for the Section 14 Foreign Investment Act. Next, for foreign corporation, for the criminal liability or imprisonment, so there is law for the criminal liability, so there will be fines or imprisonment mandated if there is investor kanang wala siya ni follow sa kanang contract or the rules and regulation mandated by the business. So next is the foreign corporation cannot sue in the Philippine courts. So next, with the foreign corporation can be used in the Philippine courts. For the list A, so a foreign ownership is limited by the mandate of the Constitution and specific law. So for the not foreign countries, so mass media except recording Article 16, Section 11 of the Constitution, Presidential Memorandum dated May 4, 1994, and services involving the practice, license, profession, save in the cases prescribed by law. So, nabilong ani ang mga engineering, medicine and allied professions, accountancy, architecture, criminology, chemistry, custom, environmental planning, forestry, interior design, landscape, architecture, law, librarianship, marine officers, marine engine officers, master plumbing, sugar technology, social work, and teaching. For the Article 14, Section 14 of the Constitution, Section 1 of Republic Act Number 518 for the retail trade, Section 1, Republic Act Number 1180, also for cooperatives, Chapter 3, Article 26 of RA 96938, for the private security agencies, Section 4 of RA number 5487, small scaling mining, Section number 7076, and other constitution or the Republic Act that belongs to the investors. So these are the Republic Act or the law regulation mandated to different types of investors or other professions related to this topic. So for the list B, foreign ownership is limited for the reasons of security, defense, risk to health and morals, protection of small and medium enterprises. So list B is focuses to the security and the safety of the investors or the investees. So up to 40% foreign equity, so manufacture, repair, storage, or distribution used in the manufacture thereof requiring Philippine National Police or the PNP clearance. So these subtopics are the firearms. So handguns to shotguns is included for the firearms. parts of firearms and ammunition. Therefore, instruments or implements used were intended to be used in the manufacture of firearms. For the gunpowder, also dynamite, blasting supplies, ingredients used in making explosives, telescopic sights, sniper scope, and other similar devices that mandated to Republic Act Number 7042 as amended by the Republic Act Number 8179. So for the manufacture, repair, storage, or distribution of product requiring the Department of National Defense already in the clearance. So guns and ammunition for warfare, so military ordnance and parts thereof. So mines, bombs, grenades, and also for the bombing fire control system and compensated guided. Also for the parts and components, their tactical aircraft, parts and components, space vehicles and component system, combat vessels, weapon, repair and maintenance equipment, military communication equipment, night vision equipment, coherent radiation devices, components and accessories, armament training devices, mandated in Republic Act Number 7042 as amended by Republic Act Number 8179. So for the third one, so manufacture and distribution of dangerous drugs that mandated to Republic Act Number 7042 as amended by Republic Act Number 8179. Also the sauna and steam bath houses, massage clinics, nightclubs, bars, beer houses, dance hall, other like activities regulated by the law because of the risk they may impose in the public health and moral. So napunasay ka ng Republic Act mag-mandate sa law. And other forms of gambling, race, track operation, racehorse ownerships, importation. And domestic market enterprise with paid in equity capital of less than $200,000 US. For domestic market enterprise involving advanced technology or employing at least 50% direct employees with paid in equity capital less than $100,000 US. So addendum up to 49% for the foreign equity allowed. So for the lending companies regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission, so subject to reciprocity rights. So investment and transportation business and public utilities. So in the Article 11 for the national economy and the patrimony, Section 11, no franchise certificate or any other form of authorization for the public utility shall be granted to citizens of the Philippines. So for common carriers, so this is a public vehicle such as the airline, land and water transportation business. The operation of such involved public service which shall be granted only to citizens of the Philippines. So common carriers is include granted only for the Philippine citizens or to corporations or association organized under the law of the Philippines, or at least 60% centrum whose capital is owned by such citizens, or international or foreign the foreign countries is not allowed to. In addition, the executive and managing officers of the corporation or association operating a transportation business shall be exclusive to citizens of the Philippines. So for the investment in the travel agencies and tour operators, so the following may apply for accreditation as tour operator. First, a resident Filipino citizens is only allowed for the tour operator within the country. A partnership organized under the law of the Philippines, at least 60% of its capital being owned by Filipino citizens. So for corporations organized under the law of the Philippines, at least 60% of the subscribed common or voting shares of stock of which is owned by the Philippine citizens, and the composition of its board of directors being at least 60% Filipinos. So the above provides the limitation of foreign participation to 40% for purposes of accreditation and operation of a travel agency or tour operator by the Department of Tourism. So next, the investment in hotel, resorts, and other accommodation establishment. So by reason of the enactment of the Memorandum Order Number 211, approving the 2006 Investment Priorities Plan on April 2006, tourism has been classified as preferred activities pursuant to Article 29 of the Omnibus Investment Code of 1987. So tourism covers the development of tourism economic zones, tourism estates, agri-tourism facilities, and the establishment of tourist accommodation facilities. So more concept focus on the tourism establishment, tourism related establishment related to tourism. For example, the hotel, resorts, and other types of accommodation facilities such as apartel, pension house, tourist inn, and similar establishment that related to tourism and hospitality industry. So for the application of the retail trade law for restaurants and shop, so restaurant and other tourism related establishments such as department store and shop are governed by the law on retail trade by reason of the nature of their business. So in the past, operation and ownership of these establishments are confirmed only to Filipino citizens or to corporations associations fully owned by the Filipinos. So sa una, the whole the ownership of the tourism and hospitality industry, hospitality and tourism establishment within the Philippines. So ang allowed ang mahimong ownership nga naara within the country is only the Filipino. But so after a year, so there are many foreign investors or foreign people nga gusto mo invest sa Philippines sa mga establishments sa tourism aspect. So the reason why naanay mga law regulation nga in terms of foreign investors nga gi-allowed na ang mga foreign people nga mo invest o magtukod ang mga hospitality and tourism industry establishment here in the country. So by reason of enactment of the Retail Trade Liberalization Act 2000, foreign investors may now engage in retail trade subject to capital requirements, so that is referred to Chapter 10, Law Regulating Restaurants and Other Tourism-Related Establishments. So, gi-allow na ang mga foreign people nga mo invest o mga establishment or mutukod ang mga business, but there is kanang na sila gisunod nga mga policy nga gi-mandate sa Philippine law related to the investors. So the following sales transactions are exempted under the coverage of the Retail Trade Liberalization Act of 2000 and are therefore allowed to 100% foreign ownership participation. So by a manufacturer, processor, labor, or worker to the general public, the product manufactured, processed, or produced by him, if its capital does not exceed into 5,100,000 pesos. So by a manufacturer of his product in a single outlet, irrespective of the capitalization and the restaurant incidental to the hotel business. So for the applicable negotiable instrument and the documents of the title. So by way of introduction, the law applicable for purposes of discussion of different negotiable instrument and documents of title and tourism investments so as follow. So for the Act of 2031, also known as the Negotiable Instrument Law, Also, the Presidential Decree number 115 providing for the regulation of Trust Receipt Transaction Warehouse Receipt Law Act of 2137. So, let's move forward to the promissory note. So, promissory note is intended only for the person who want to promise mo, uh, mo, mubayad ana nga uh, amount of money. So, promissory note is written promise committing to the maker to the payee a specific sum of money either on demand or a fixed or determinable future date with or without interest. So, there are special types of promissory notes. So, first is the certificate of deposit. So, it is a written acknowledgement by a bank of the receipt of money and deposits which the bank promises to pay to depositor's bearer or some other person to the order of depositor or to him or his order. So for the mortgage note, so a debt instrument by which the borrower gives the lender alien and the property as security for the repayment of a loan. So mo ni sila ang kanang ni baylo o kanang amount of money nga mubayad but dili pa karon but there is specific date na ilang bayaran ang that is mortgage note. So the borrower has use of the property and the alien is removed when the obligation is fully paid. A mortgage normally involves real estate, which is called real estate mortgage for personal property such as machines, equipment, or tools. That alien is called as chattel or mortgage. So next is the bill of exchange. So it is an unconditional order in writing addressed by one person to another, signed by the person giving it, requiring the person to whom it is addressed to pay on demand or a fixed determinable future time as some certain in money to order or a bearer. So talk about a bill of exchange. So there are two people who exchange for the bill or for the person giving or requiring a person to pay on a demand on a fixed money. So there are types of bills of exchange. First, a draft. So this is the common term of a bill of exchange. It is a bill of exchange drawn by a bank issued at the solicitation of a stranger who purchases and pays thereof. So it is also defined as the order of payment of money. So in such case, the drawn bank acting as the payer, bank is not liable for the act not done in accordance with the instructions of the purchaser. So next type is the trade acceptance. So a draft or a bill of exchange drawn by the seller on a buyer of goods sold by accepted by such purchaser of good. So it is payable to order and with certain maturity. So next is the banker's acceptance. So banker's acceptance, so a draft or a bill of exchange of which the acceptor is a bank or banker, engaged generally in the business of granting bankers acceptance credit. So this is chiefly use of international trade financing. So for a check is a bill of exchange drawn on a bank payable on demand. So there are special types of checks. So manager's check. So this is one drawn by the bank manager upon the bank itself and deemed accepted by the act of issuance. So it is similar to the cashier's check, both as to the effect and use. So this really the bank's own check and may be treated as a promissory note with the bank as the mark maker. So it is accepted practice that the manager's check is deemed as cash. So for the traveler's check, so it is the one upon which a holder's signature must appear twice, one to be affixed by him and that time is issued and the second or counter signature to be affixed by the presence of the payee before it is paid, otherwise it is incomplete. So the next one is the certified check. So this is bears upon in face an agreement by the drawee bank that the check will be paid on presentation. So the stamping or writing the word certified upon the check, where a check is certified by the bank on which it's drawn, that certification is equivalent to the acceptance. So before acceptance or certification, the bank is not liable and the holder has no right to sue the drawee bank on the check. So for the cross-check, so under acceptance banking practice, crossing a check is done by writing two parallel lines diagonally on the left top portion of the check. So the crossing is special where the name of a bank or a business institution is written between the two parallel lines. So which means that the drawee should pay only with the intervention of that company. So there are other commercial documents. The invoice. So in commercial transaction, it is written account the particulars of merchandise. So these documents is allowed for the business, a big business in the market. So it is unwritten account particulars of merchandise shipped or sent, purchaser, consign, an actor with the value of prices and charge. So it is a list of goods sold and the price charged for them for the goods consigned and the value at which the consign is to receive them. Next is the sales invoice. So it is a repository of the agreement resulting from negotiations for the sale of goods between the parties. So it is a list of goods sold and the prices charged for them. Next is the purchase orders. It is form used by the purchasing department to order goods or merchandise, so the original copy is sent to the supplier. So this purchase order is an authorization to deliver the merchandise and to submit a bill based on the price listed. So once accepted by the supplier, the purchase order becomes legally binding purchase contract. So next is the bill of lading. It is a written document issued by a carrier that specifies contractual conditions and terms such as time, place, person name for receipt for delivery of goods. So it is also evidence receipt of goods. So warehouse receipt. So the warehouse receipt law seek to encourage transactions on negotiable warehouse receipt, which may only be issued by a warehouseman who is engaged business of receiving commodities on deposit for storage. So next is the trust receipt. So it is commercial document whereby the bank releases the goods in the possession of the entrustee, but retains ownership thereof while the entrustee shall sell the goods and apply the proceeds for the full payment of his liability with the bank. So letter of credit. So modern letters of credit are strictly bank-to-bank transaction. A letter of credit is an instrument issued by a bank on behalf of customers, authorizing individual or firm to draw drops on the bank or on correspondence for its account under certain conditions of the credit. So let's move on to the foreign exchange. So foreign exchange are instruments employed in making payments between countries using paper currency, notes, checks, bills of exchange, and electronic notifications of international debits and credits. For the Article 1249 of the Civil Code of the Philippines, the payment in money shall be made in the currency, and if it is not possible to deliver such currency, then in the currency which is legal tender in the Philippines. So the deliverance of the currency is important. So the currency definitely is very important in order to be legal in the Philippines. So the delivery of promissory notes payable to order or bills of exchange or other mercantile documents. So mercantile documents, so these are the trade industry of the Philippines and produce the effect of payment only when they have been cashed or when through the fault of creditor they have been impaired. So for the legal tender, so this means such currency which in given jurisdiction can be used of payment of debts, public or private, and which cannot be refused by the creditor. So in the Philippines, the following are legal tender. So the Philippine peso is the legal tender. All notes and coins issued by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. So the foregoing articles, sanctions, payments of debts on currency other than that which is the legal tender of the Philippines, if there is stipulations that effect. Next is the financing. The role of banks. The General Banking Law of 2000 was enacted based on the following state policy. The state recognized the vital role of the banks in providing environment conducive of the sustained development of the national economy. The fiduciary nature of banks that requires high standards of integrity and performance. In furtherance thereof, the state shall promote and maintain a stable and efficient banking and financial system that is globally competitive, dynamic, responsive to the demands of developing economy. For the franchising, a franchise is a privilege given between the franchisor and the franchisee. So, naay duha ka tawo nga na-involved sa franchising, so the franchisor and the franchisee. So by franchisee serves organization to sell the franchisor's products or service in a given area with or without exclusivity. So such arrangements are sometimes formalized in a franchising agreement, which is contract between a franchisor and a franchisee wherein the former may offer consultation, promotional assistance, financing, and other benefits. So for the taxes, so there are types of taxes. So the value added tax or the VAT, so a 12% value added tax is imposed on any person who in the course of trade or business sells, barters, exchanges, lesses goods or properties, renders services or engaged in similar transactions who imports goods. So commonly the value added tax can be added kaya sa makita siya sa resibo sa mga supermarket or like and also sa mga mall. So the value added tax is 12% ang ilang kuha, and this is included only for the trade business sales and who barters goods and buys goods. So percentage taxes, so this person's annual gross receipt do not exceed of 5,550 are exempted for payment of value-added tax at shall percentage tax equivalent 3% quarterly. So for the excise taxes, so imposed on certain specified goods manufactured or produced consumption in the Philippines for domestic sale or consumption for any disposition, excise tax paid addition to but like alcohol products, jewelry, precious metals, perfumes, solid waters, and other goods for pleasures or sports subject to exercise taxes. So for Barangay Micro Business Enterprise Law, so this enterprise is Act of 2000 in Republic Act 19178 on July 22, 2002 was enacted to hasten the country's economic development, encouraging the formation and growth of barangay micro business enterprise, which effectively serve as seedbeds of Filipino entrepreneurial talents and integrating those in the formal sector with the mainstream economy through the rationalization of bureaucratic restrictions. The active intervention of the government, specifically in the local level, and the granting of incentive benefits generate needed and allied poverty. So for the law related to tourism, investment, and finance, so these are the law that are related to tourism, businesses, and investments. So in investment world, investors is one of the main characters. So as a Filipino citizen, we should know kanang what are the law related to the investment as well as for the investors, like for the foreign country, so that to avoid an illegal business and to avoid illegal transactions. So we should know what are the law uh, related to the investment and also to foreign uh, investors. So that will be all for this topic. Thank you and have a nice day.